So Payday 3 has been a matchmaking nightmare so far, but if you've been able to get into some games, you've probably noticed that stealth is a little different from how it was in Payday 2. Or maybe you're brand new to Payday. Either way, I really like running heists in solo stealth, but having to do everything yourself isn't always easy, so I want to show you guys a few things I've been doing to make it a lot easier. To start, there's a brand new mechanic that you can take advantage of, and that's the doors. Opening and closing doors is actually a pretty major change, and it affords a few new possibilities. First of all, obviously you can just close a door and hide in a room, but you can also open a door to block a camera or a guard's view. You want to try to leave doors open in an advantageous position too. If you look at this door, when it's open to the inside like that, it's not really doing anything, but if you open it the other way, now it blocks off that corner, essentially extending the wall a little bit. It's a minor thing, but why not give yourself every little advantage? Now another little trick for when you're hanging around those doors is to watch closely if there's a guard around, because you can actually see their shadows through the doors and walls. This is a great way of tracking them if you don't have them marked. It's a little more reliable than listening for their footsteps or radios too, since you can actually see exactly where they are and where they're going. Of course, knowing where a guard's going doesn't help too much if you aren't familiar with his patrol, and that's another thing you want to do. Familiarize yourself with guard patrol routes. This will help you to not get caught, obviously, but it really helps with a number of other things. It makes doing the heist easier each time as you learn them better. It also helps you figure out which guards you should maybe take out because they're always in the way, and which ones are easier to avoid. It's important to be very selective of which guards you get rid of, especially on the higher difficulties when pagers are so limited. It also helps with this next one, which is deciding whether or not to take down the security room. Spending one pager to take out all the cameras on the map is a pretty good deal usually, but it's not always necessary, and sometimes when pagers are limited, it can be best to use that pager on a guard instead. Again, learning the heist helps with this, and I think it's different for every heist. No Rest for the Wicked, for instance, I don't mind leaving the cameras up, whereas Under the Surface has a ridiculous number of cameras, and I always go for the security room first thing. Try to keep in mind what gives you more trouble on every heist, guards or cameras, then make your decision based on that. Alright, now a quick little tip for when you do take out one of those guards. Carrying bodies in this game is a little risky because you can't crouch, so it can put you in some bad spots. So try to kill guards in places where you can move the body easily, or better yet where you don't have to move it. But if you do have to, something you can do is drop the body, then crouch where you need to, and pick it back up from the other side. You won't have to do this too much, but it can definitely be useful. Alright, now let's talk about another new mechanic that opens up a lot of possibilities. The new escort mechanic, and really the new casing mode in general. So if you aren't totally sure yet, in public areas, nobody cares what you do with your mask off. Then in private areas, cameras and guards will spot you, and some civilians might have a problem with you, but as long as you aren't actually caught in the act of performing an illegal action, you won't get busted. The guards will just escort you out to the nearest public area and let you go, and you can abuse the heck out of this. I don't know if there's a limit to how many times you can get escorted, but trust me, I've messed around on purpose to find out, and if there is a limit, it's more than you could ever need. So you really want to try to complete as many objectives in casing mode as you can, since there's essentially no risk of being caught for real. You can do things like take keycards off of guards, hack their phones, lead them away from areas you need to get to. You see, this guy's camping a switch I need to flip, so I alert him, and as soon as his back's turned, I get the switch flipped. You can literally complete entire heists without masking up, which is really cool in my opinion, so it's worth getting to know this new casing mode. Another little tip for casing mode when you're in private areas is that guards won't hear you sprinting, so you can run around as much as you want, just make sure they aren't looking at you because you'll be easy to spot. You can also get really close to guards and they won't see you. In Payday 2, I'd be detected right now, but these guys have zero game sense. They sometimes do this animation where they go looking around though, so watch out for that. Another little thing that you won't use too much, but it can be really nice, is putting bags on the bots. This is a great addition because they actually kind of follow you around now as much as they can, so on heists like Golden Shark, where there's lots of bag moving, you can cut down on the number of trips you have to make by taking 4 bags at a time with their help. The next tip is about civilians, and boy do I love that you can actually grab these idiots now and not have to rely on them following you to move them. But there is one instance where I might still make them follow, and that's if you have to move 2 of them quickly. So if you try to order multiple civilians to follow, it still doesn't work, the other one just sits back down. But if you grab one of them and get another to follow, now you can move 2 of them for the price of 1. This is really helpful when you need to move a lot of civilians or just move a couple of them fast. Alright, now I've got just a couple more tips. This one's probably the most minor thing on this list, but it could be pretty clutch. So your bag item is not going to be much help on a stealth heist. If you're planning to stay in the heist if things go loud, then you'll probably want an armor or ammo bag since they're just better, but if the plan is stealth or nothing, then you might want to bring a medic bag. Really, the medic bag is the only one that can have any benefit in pure stealth since you might take some fall damage. In fact, if you have the medic bag, it may allow you to take some different routes and take more damage than you normally could without it. Also, another little tip while we're here, if you take fall damage while casing, it automatically makes you mask up. I learned that the hard way. And last but not least, I just want to quickly talk about the lead guard mechanic and what it actually means, since I didn't really get it until I saw it in action. And basically, endless radio spawns does just mean his radio will go off endlessly, essentially making these guys ticking time bombs that will set off the alarm eventually. So you shouldn't really touch these guys at all unless you pretty much have the heist finished already. And that's that, so I hope some of these can be helpful. Drop a like or let me know in the comments if you want to see more Payday videos. And also, if you have any tips and tricks of your own, I'm sure people are coming up with all sorts of things. And as always, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.